So welcome back to another video. So this is Paper Premier League now. We're on to game day 10. Let's have a look at the games. So first game of the day is Bournemouth versus Chelsea. Now Chelsea have won their last 3 games and they are currently sat at top of the league. Then we've got Palace at home to Everton. Now Palace have lost their last 2 games, which means they have dropped down to 4th. And a win for Everton potentially could take them out of the relegation zone. Then we've got Southampton against Villa. Southampton staying 7th where they are. Villa did drop to 15th and they have both lost their last game, so we'll see how that one goes. Liverpool against Spurs. Now Liverpool are on some good form. They haven't lost in their last 5 games and they are currently up to 3rd in the league. So they might be pushing for that top spot. Man United at home to Ipswich. Man United and Ipswich have both moved up in the table. And Ipswich have won their last 2, so they are maybe potentially looking to climb the table even more. Now, this game, Newcastle against Brighton, 2nd in the division Brighton against bottom of the table Newcastle. Newcastle have lost their last 5 games in a row, and they're on some really poor form considering they did start the division out at like 1st or 2nd when we first started this. Then we got Wolves at home to Man City. Wolves are pushing up the table a little bit. They're still top of the relegation zone, so it's nothing to shout about. Wolves' win could take them out of the relegation zone because of Arsenal's goal difference, depending on how their game gets on. And Man City, potentially. They have dropped recently, but they are in 9th and trying to push for that Champions League spot. Leicester against Brentford. Leicester in 5th, Brentford in 13th. Leicester on some decent form and they're trying to hold that top 5 spot. Now Arsenal versus Forest, Arsenal at home. Arsenal are on some really poor form. They've got a -9 goal difference and Forest really trying to push for that Champions League spot. And then last game of the round will be West Ham versus Fulham. West Ham are up to mid-table from being bottom about 3 or 4 rounds ago, so their form is improving. So let's move on and we'll get to the half-time scores. So here we go, first half. Let's see the scores. 3-6. So at half-time, Bournemouth holding Chelsea 0-0. Crystal Palace Everton. That's also 0-0 at half time. Southampton Villa now. And we've got all draws at half time, 1-1. Liverpool against Spurs. So Spurs take the early half time lead, 2-0 away at Liverpool. What's Man United Ipswich going to be? And Man United take a massive lead at half time, 3-0 up. Ipswich are going to need something special in the second half. Bottom of the table Newcastle now. Can they get anything from half time from this first half? No. Being held 0-0 at Brighton. So they're not doing too bad. They're holding Brighton to 0-0. Wolves versus Man City. And shockingly, Wolves have taken a 1-0 win against Man City at half time. No, it's not win, sorry. 1-0 lead at half time. They haven't won the game yet. Leicester versus Brentford. And Leicester looking to be back on form with a 2-1 lead currently at home to Brentford. Arsenal Forest now. And Arsenal's form continues to deceive them. They're currently 2-1 down at Forest. West Ham Fulham, last score of the half, and that's currently 1-1. So that's the half-time scores. So let's begin the second half. So second half kicks off now. Let's see what the final scores are going to be. Bournemouth versus Chelsea. Oh, let's roll that back into the tray. And Chelsea take just a 1-goal win, which just solidifies their top spot position. Crystal Palace, Everton. And Everton, from 19th in table, have won 1-0 away at 4th in the league, Palace. And as I say, that should potentially might push them out the relegation zone. 1-1 at half time between Southampton and Villa. Here we go. And they both score a goal in the second half, which means point each for Villa and Southampton. Liverpool, Spurs. Liverpool currently 2-0 down. Spurs took that early lead. Can they pull it back? No, they don't. They have lost to Spurs 2-1. They only scored 1 goal in the second half. Wasn't enough. Man United now versus Ipswich. Currently 3-0 up. Massive lead at half time. Can they hold out? Well, they can. They actually increase the lead to a massive 5-1. Big victory for United. That hopefully for them might push them further up into the league and solidify that mid-table position. Newcastle, Brighton. Can Newcastle gain any points out of this game? No, second half was not their game. They lost 2-0. 2 goals in the second half for Brighton. Means Newcastle have lost another game again. What's Man City now? And Man City are the only team to score a goal in the second half, and they get a point out of that game. Leicester, Brentford. And in the second half, Brentford scored 2 goals to snatch a win at Leicester. So no goals in the second half against Arsenal Forest. So Forest take the win, putting struggling Arsenal potentially further down the table. West Ham, Fulham now, last game of the round. 3-5. And West Ham scored the only goal of the second half, improving their form massively. They have been on crazy form since coming from the bottom of the table, and they take the 2-1 win. So let's go over to the final scores, and then we'll have a look at the table. Final scores now. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 0, Everton 1, Southampton 2, Aston Villa 2, Liverpool 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2, Man United 5, Ipswich 1, Newcastle 0, Brighton 2, Wolves 1, Man City 1, Leicester 2, Brentford 3, Arsenal 1, Nottingham Forest 2, West Ham 2, Fulham 1. Looking at the table now, Chelsea with that win hold out in the top spot. They're now on 23 points. Brighton did win, so they're still putting the pressure on to Chelsea. Forest also won, so they're close third. We've got Liverpool, Palace, so they both lost, so 4th and 5th in the table. Tottenham with that win, pushing closer to Palace on the same points. Then we've got Leicester, Southampton and Man City next in the table. So Man City did drop points at Wolves, which doesn't help their cause. Man United, a massive 5-1 win over Ipswich, does push them up 1 place. Fulham lost, so they did swap positions with Man United. Then next, West Ham still on good form. So they've won their last 4 in a row. So that puts them still in the same position, still at the 12th. They haven't quite overtook Fulham yet. Then we've got Brentford next with 14. And their victory keeps them in the same position as well. Aston Villa next, they dropped points at Southampton. So they have somehow gone up 1 place with that point, but 14th. Bournemouth, Everton and Arsenal and Ipswich all on 9 points, but Bournemouth with the best goal difference, but they're on the same goal difference as Everton, but they've just scored more. So Everton have pushed out of the relegation, as we said in the build-up. With that 1-0 win against Palace, they're now up to 16th, they're now to the relegation zone. Ipswich have been pushed back in the relegation zone with the loss against Man United. And Arsenal did lose, but because Ipswich lost, it means they can stay 17th, just outside the relegation. Wolves gain a point at City, but they did drop down to 19th. And Newcastle have lost another game in a row, so that makes it 6. It might be more, I'll have to check. But on 6 points, they've lost 8 in total. I think they've won their first 2 games and they've lost all of them since. So it's not looking good for Newcastle at the moment. See if they can pick up some form. But Chelsea sat at top of the table with 23 points. And if you like these videos, please let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd think I can do differently or to improve the videos at all. Let me know what you think of the results. Big win for Man United. Good win for Chelsea away at Bournemouth to keep them top of the league. Or Newcastle, struggling Newcastle on. They've lost 8 for the season. If you do like this video, say like and subscribe, and I'll try and get one out at least every day. I'll try anyway, see how it goes. The recording's not too long, but it's putting the video together afterwards. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you for game day 11 in the next one.